And welcome to the Midweek Moment. I am Goose.
I'm Cronkite.
How are you doing today, Cronkite?
I'm doing better.
How are you still recuperating from Sunday's show?
Yeah, that was rough.
Well, we had a really good show this past Sunday.
I
If you've
so.
not heard it yet, go back and listen to it. And the segment 3, the last 27 minutes, you will not be disappointed.
It was a good one.
Oh, it was very good, very good. So
Don't get me on a roll again.
Well, good. Do you have any news headlines for us this week?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Okay, that is no problem.
Not at the moment. No problem. But I will update on the Facebook page.
Okay.
When we
sounds great.
When I have some.
Well, you can do those on Thursday or Friday if you want to.
Yep.
I can still understand you're still recovering from the from Sunday's show.
Yes.
That is no problem. Well, we'll skip along and go on to Midweek Moment text.
Okay.
You want to start us out?
Sure. So Kylie writes, great midweek show last week. I read on your Facebook page as to why it was delayed. That's awful that YouTube did that. I'm glad they reversed it and that we got a midweek show this week. Will you continue adding missing people's pictures at the end of the show?
We talked about that a little bit on Sunday. Probably not. We'll probably... when we update the website, hopefully it'll be updated tomorrow, Thursday, and we will maybe add a link then. If not, we will definitely do something. Maybe put something on our Facebook page or something.
Right.
G. Hall writes, hello, Goose, Cronkite, and Ned. I enjoy the show and want to suggest that Elliot have some kind of segment in the midweek show. Roswell. That is a great suggestion, Elliot. We would love to have you if you want to do some sort of video show or something to that effect. If you don't want to show who you are, you can wear a mask. We can blur your face. We can do whatever you want. Thank you very much, G. Hall, for that text. And you notice when I said G. Hall, it sounded like I almost, thank you very much, Yee Hall.
Yee Hall. So, maybe that's what they were trying to do.
Could have been.
So Brian C. writes, hello, Midweek Moment. My first time watching and listening was last week. I'm hooked and now a fan. Just wanted to say hello, and then I look forward to more shows to come.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words.
Let's see, this one's a long one. I'm going to pick this up, if that's okay.
Sure.
We'll skip that over. Leslie writes, Cronkite, Ned, and Goose, what are some of your favorite YouTube channels that you like to watch? For me, I watch a lot of old school TV shows that I grew up with. Also, what are your thoughts on the COVID-19 virus shutting down movie theaters? Do you think the theaters are going to be a thing in the past over the next few years? When everything started, mine closed down, then opened back up in the summer, only to close 3 weeks later. I heard last week that it isn't going to reopen. Okay, so thank you very much, Leslie. And we have talked that we do watch more YouTube than we do television.
Yes.
Some of my favorite channels, I, of course, watch and listen to Dead Pit. Jim Cornette and his podcast. He has 2 of them. I also like Trivia Commentaries. He does a lot of gaming ones on Red Dead Redemption 2. Explore With Us is a family that go out and they used to explore places. Now they are getting into like a different perspective where they actually do missing people or unsolved murders. And there's one more I can't think of. Oh, Carpetbagger. I like Carpetbagger. He travels around. He was actually, I think, last week in Kentucky driving the Dixie Highway. He started from Florida, drove the Dixie Highway all the way up through Kentucky, circled back around through Detroit, drove it all the way back down, around, and then he ended in North Carolina where he lives at.
Oh, very cool.
So, what about you?
I just kind of watch what I'm in the mood for. I mean, it's mainly project shows, car project shows.
You said you like the vans.
I like the vans. Yeah, I like watching them build. They were like RVs out of these military vehicles and sprinter vans, things like that. I also like watching people who go buy these wrecked cars from the Copart auction and rebuild them.
Those are cool.
Yeah, and anything just really aviation related, things like that. I kind of stick to that, and of course the Midweek Moment with here at Chubo.
Oh yeah. Of course I watch that. Let's see. I guess part B of your question, the COVID-19 shutting down theaters. That is a shame that happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's a theater local to us. It is closed. It's not been open since last March.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 10 months.
Almost a year. Yeah.
There's also one in a couple counties over that me and my son always go to. That one's did the same thing basically that yours did, but it is going to open back up. And I think there's one just across the border in Virginia that is currently up and still going.
What I'll say probably I would like to see drive-in theaters make a comeback, and I think to a certain extent you will. But the way everything is right now with streaming services and being able to rent movies right now, I think you'll see a lot of that. I think you'll see a lot more of that.
So do you think that we'll see theaters become a thing of the past?
I think they won't be as like a staple in a culture anymore as it used to be. Like I said, and who knows, it may turn around to where drive-in theaters start picking back up, which would be awesome.
Oh, that would be really cool.
But at the same time, I can see streaming becoming the main thing.
You want to get our next one?
Oh, sure. So Thomas says, shadow people. I wonder if they see us as shadow people in themselves in color. They can't seem to manifest fully into our realm. Would an astral traveler be able to see them in color? That's interesting. I never thought about it that way.
Answer that for us. What's your opinion on that?
So the shadow people, now, some people say shadow people are entities from the spirit realm. And I kind of think they're maybe an overlapping dimension.
Right.
So yeah, they probably would see themselves in color and see us as just a shadow.
Right.
That
makes total sense.
What about you? What do you think about it?
I've never really thought about it. I know what shadow people are. I've never really researched them a whole lot. I have no idea. I mean, I guess that we would probably appear shadow to them.
It makes sense.
Let's see. Since our next one, I guess it's addressed to you. Do you want to read that one too?
All right. Classic fan says, Cronkite. When I've mastered yoga or some other kind of meditative technique, I will try astral projection next. Meditation that requires focus and blocking out the stray thoughts in a potential key to mastering astral projection travel faster. Once I've mastered that, I might try to contact aliens that way. When I come in contact with aliens, they will instruct me on how to change the past, and it may be through a time machine, astral projection, or both, or maybe something more simple. Whatever the outcome, is there anything that you want me to do for you? Winning lottery numbers.
Well,
that's pretty cliche.
Yeah, no. That's totally fine.
I don't know. That's pretty cool. I would just like to know. I would like for you to talk to another civilization and tell us what they're saying. Do they know about us?
I would like for them to buy you some cough syrup.
No, we don't need that.
Are you sure?
No, we don't need that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
If you haven't listened to the show,
classic fan.
If you haven't listened to the show on Sunday's show, it's a reference to segment 3.
Our last.
No, I didn't butt chug anything, so don't get that.
I just said cough syrup.
No,
You're the one that said.
Oh.
Butt chug.
Listen, you're gonna love it. So, it's gonna be amazing.
I guess so. Let's see. Alpha writes, "Hello, midweek moment. It's been a while since I've written. Goose, Cronkite, and Ned. What are your abilities and what is your knowledge in regards to UFO research? Any special skills that you possess will aid you in your quest?" Well, I don't really have a quest that I'm on. We do this show simply because we like it. Mm-hmm. We have fans that like this show. We have people that were legitimately upset when YouTube did flag our first show. Well, not our first show, but our show last week. But then that decision was reversed. I do a lot of research. I see a lot of things from my years at the cookie factory. I've experienced and saw a lot of things. As far as degrees, I don't have those, if that's what you're asking, Alpha. I can't really figure out if you're asking that to be nice or to be kind of an ass. So if you're not being an ass, I apologize. But, this is just stuff that I find fascinating, that Cronkite finds fascinating, that a lot of our listeners and viewers find fascinating.
This is we don't do this show just, we're not the headline news.
No.
Hey, we talk about stuff that we find fascinating, that our listeners find fascinating, and we do the research accordingly. It's we don't have any specialized training in anything. These are just topics that we
do have specialized training, but it's not in UFO detection.
Sure. And it's mainly just stuff that we enjoy talking about. We enjoy learning and researching. And it is what it is. It's not necessarily that we're trying to say that we're the CNN of the UFO world. We're not.
No, you never go, look at us, look what we're talking about.
Yeah, no,
we won't do that.
We just discuss what we think is interesting at the time, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, and I want to thank the listeners for texting in to the Midweek Show. If you want to text, you can always call, text, or leave a voicemail.
606-373-3396, or you can email us, Goose@heretochewbubblegum.com, or myself, Cronkite @heretochewbubblegum.com.
And just be sure, if you want to include your text on the Midweek Moment, put MWM before you start to text. That way we'll know it's not for the Sunday show and for the Midweek Moment show. This week we're going to talk about the Kentucky meat shower. Remember me teasing about that last week?
I do.
Let's see. The Kentucky meat shower occurred and lasted for several minutes on March 3rd, 1876, where chunks of red meat measuring 2 by 2 inches with at least 4 by 4 inches fell from the sky. This happened in Bath County, Kentucky, and there were several explanations as to why Kentucky had a meat shower, one of them being that a vulture had vomited after a meal in the air and that it fell to the earth. The exact type of meat was never identified, although various reports suggest it was beef, lamb, deer, bear, horse, or even human. The incident happened, let's see, Mrs. Crouch, a farmer's wife, was making soap on her porch when she reported seeing the meat pieces fall from the sky. She said she was 40 steps from her house when the meat started to splat on the ground. The meat looked grisly, according to Mrs. Crouch. Mrs. Crouch and her husband believed the event signified a sign from God. A similar event was later reported in Europe, and that was documented in several other publications. Let's see. The Newark Scientific Association for Future Analysis heard of this story, and they had identified some of the meat as lung tissue from a horse or human infant. The structures of the organ in this cases were mostly identical. The composition of the sample was backed up by further analysis, with 2 samples of the meat being identified as lung tissue. The story goes on to say that vultures vomit as part of making a quick escape and can also be a defensive method. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I guess vultures get nervous, they puke. So, some of the doctors went on to explain that the dry appearance of the meat chunks as a result of pressure, and noted that 9 days later, on March 12th, 1876, the same thing happened over London. So, the local Bath County News reported on the event, and there is a sample in Transylvania University, and there's actually a picture of this. You can just Google Kentucky meat shower, and there's a jar from 1876, and it's a sample, and it's still on display at the Transylvania University. It had a sample. No one has since, I don't believe that they have did research or anything on that to see if it was in fact a vulture. But basically, for several minutes, you had meat fall from the sky over Bath County, Kentucky.
I mean, a vulture can be pretty big, but would you call it a shower for several minutes?
No. I mean, honestly, to me, I don't buy the whole vulture thing, because if it's going over several minutes, you'd have to have several vultures,
right?
Regurgitating or throwing up their food and so forth.
And to say the lung tissue from a human infant
or a horse, they didn't know which one.
That's strange.
So that's very strange, and that's a brief story of the Kentucky meat shower.
was pretty interesting.
You thought it was going to be something else, didn't you?
I certainly did.
Okay, see. Our question of the week this week. What is your favorite Mandela effect story? You can call, text, or leave a voicemail by calling 606-373-3396. Or you can shoot us an email.
You can shoot us an email.
Shoot us an email.
Goose at here2chewbubblegum.com or Cronkite at here2chewbubblegum.com.
Again, our question of the week. What is your favorite Mandela effect story? Now, we're going to end with a funny story this week before we close anything out.
Okay.
I got this idea after Sunday's show, after we ended with a funny segment.
Yeah.
So,
rough.
Our funny true story is the story, and you've never heard of this, correct? This is the poop knife story.
No, I've not.
Okay. Do you know what a poop knife is?
No, but
You will find out after this story.
Got it in my brain here.
Now, this was posted by a Reddit user that went by the name Learned But. And this was posted. This is actually several years old. It starts out, my family poops big. Maybe it's genetic. Maybe it's our diet. But everyone bursts giant logs of crap. If anyone has laid a mega poop, you know that sometimes it won't flush. It lays across the hole in the bottom of the bowl, and the vortex of draining water merely gives it a spin as it mocks you. You can put your hand down. You don't have to have your hand over your face.
Called it a mega poop.
Yeah, that's what it says. You like that?
I don't.
Okay. Growing up, this was a common enough occurrence that our family had a poop knife. It was an old rusty knife that hung on a nail in the laundry room, only to be used for that purpose. It was normal to walk out through the hallway and have someone call out, "Hey, can you bring me the poop knife?" I thought it was come on, put your hands down, man. You got to entertain the viewers. I thought it was a standard kit. You have your plunger, your toilet, your brush, and your poop knife. Fast forward to the age of 22. It's been a day or two between poops, and I'm at a friend's house. My friend was a local dealer, and as always, guests were over because you can't buy weed without sitting on your ass and sampling it for an hour. I excused myself to lay a gigantic turd. I look down and see that it's sideways. So I crack the door open and call out to my friend. He arrives and I ask him for his poop knife. My friend responds, "My what?" "Your poop knife." I say, "I need to use it. Please." My friend responds, "WTF is a poop knife." Obviously, he has one, but maybe he calls it something more delicate. A fecal cleaver, a dung divider. I explain what it is and why I want it. He starts giggling and laughing. Then lots of people start laughing. It turns out the music stopped and everyone heard my plies through the door. It also turns out that none of them had poop knives. It was just my effed up family and their effed up bowels. I told this story to my wife last night, who was amused and horrified at the same time. It turns out that she did not know what a poop knife was and had been using the old rusty knife hanging in a utility closet as a basic utility knife.
Oh,
Thankfully,
no.
She didn't cook with it, but she used it to open up Amazon boxes. She will be getting her own utility knife now. And that is the true funny story of the poop knife.
I didn't know what a poop knife was coming into today, but I do now.
So, do you have a poop knife?
I do not.
Do you have a cleaver? What did he call it?
A fecal cleaver.
A fecal cleaver?
I do
What about a dung divider?
I do not.
What about a Cleveland steamer?
I do not.
What about a Cincinnati bow tie? Those are entirely two different
Cincinnati
things.
bow tie.
I apologize.
I have a chainsaw. Does that work?
Oh, that's that'd be flying every which way.
That'd be awful.
You know what sucks though is when you're like weed eating in the summertime and you
Hit a big pile up.
yeah.
Yeah, it does.
That's
It
happened to
just
you
goes
before.
everywhere.
So yes, it does.
Yeah.
So now, what is funnier, the poop knife story, the true story, or the butt chugging story on Sunday?
I think the butt chugging story, because the poop knife is just. It's kind of gross.
Well, yeah, but so's the other one.
Yeah, but they thought that one through, and they still did it.
Well, yeah.
This was the poop knife was out of necessity.
Yeah, but could you imagine being at somebody's house and you open up, "Hey, bring me your poop knife in here."
Now, I didn't say that I wouldn't be laughing and making fun of them, but it's out of necessity.
My what?
Yeah.
Your poop knife.
Out of necessity, that happened. The butt chugging, they chose to do that. So.
Yes, they did. Well, that's all for this week on the Midweek Moment. Do you want to say anything in closing?
Not really. I mean, have a good week. We'll see you on Sunday.
See you on Sunday. And don't forget, Cronkite will be posting the news stories tomorrow, which will be January 21st.
Yep. Be
on our Facebook page.
Yep.
Until then, you have a great week, and we will see you guys on Sunday. Poop knife.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.